Good evening.
Yes, Big Dot.
Can I have a
What's good?
shot of Casamigo?
Sure. We're doing a
So,
special today. We've got the Casamigo Jedi.
the Nigerian
The
way.
Nigerian way. You want to try that?
Okay. Well, I'll take water first.
You take water
Then we'll
first.
get back to that
I
later.
got you. I got you, my brother.
I know. I don't need to ask about about the business again. I know you. I know you own the business.
Yeah.
And I've been coming here for a while.
Yeah.
So, but then you want to introduce yourself
Okay.
for the benefit of this conversation.
Okay. So go for it, yeah?
Yeah. Go for it.
So my name is Ola
Okay.
Festus
Festus.
Taylor. A
Okay.
lot of people call me Ola because of the Kemi and Ola. So I'm the Ola and the Kemola.
Okay.
But I'm also Festus. I shortened Festus to Fez.
Fez.
So most of the people that I know, my close circle, call me Fez, which is F-E-Z.
Okay.
So if you go on my social handles, it's Fez for Fezinator.
Fezinator. So how did you come about the nature?
Well, because I get shit done, and when when you think about the Terminator
Okay.
gets his mission accomplished. So they just merge the Fez and the Terminator to Fezinator.
That's awesome. So I know you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
So can we look at, what was it like, before moving to this country? Before coming, how long have you been here?
Practically back and forth all my life. I started coming to the UK since when I was a child.
Mm.
Anyway, so when we'd go for holidays, we'd come to the UK, cold country, for Christmas and all whatnot. Grew up in Ibadan. I'm originally from Ogun State, Abeokuta to be precise. It's a middle average class family. Nothing extraordinary. We weren't that great with money, but we were well to do enough. We were comfortable, so to speak.
Okay.
So UK was kind of like the next place. My dad lived a lot of his life in the UK, and I practically was brought up by my mother.
Okay.
So she always looked after us. So mom lived in Nigeria, dad lived in the UK, and we were back and forth until we finished university and decided, you know what, enough is enough. I'm relocating to the UK.
Okay.
So that was the old jackpot story for me.
So it was at the point you finished university in Nigeria.
Yes,
Yeah,
but it wasn't as if I wasn't in and out. I was dipping in and out.
But at what point did you decide, like,
when I
moving to UK?
finished university, so I started making that move between 2005 and 2007 was kind of like my turnover time to leave Nigeria at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then, for somebody who has been coming to UK from a very young age, you must have been exposed to a lot of areas in UK, and
Yes.
you must have, like, gotten used to the culture around the United Kingdom. So why Liverpool out of every other?
It's a good question, actually. The old Liverpool story was just you know what, it just happened because my mom lived on the Wirral.
Really?
Okay, when she finally left Nigeria, she lived on the Wirral, and I lived in London with my dad. And one thing led to the other. Peer pressure, and my dad kicked me out. Go live with your mom. And I then relocated to the Wirral to live with my mom. And when I eventually got married, decided to settle down. Liverpool was the next bus stop, if that makes sense.
Yeah, from the Wirral.
Yeah, from the Wirral, just over the water.
Just have to cross the water.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, that was it really. There's not much of that basic story around the relocation. It just happened.
Because I was wondering, for somebody who has been here, coming around from a very young age, you would have been used to London, Manchester, Birmingham, other cool places.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind Liverpool. Liverpool now for me is home. Liverpool is a place where I'm proud to be associated with, to call home for me. So obviously, all my kids were born in Liverpool. Well, my eldest was born on the Wirral, and my other two kids were born in Liverpool. So it's near enough the same thing. So they're all speaking Scousers now. So yeah, I wouldn't choose any other place in the UK to live than Liverpool right now. But I don't know if the story changes. we might just see.
You know why I was just asking that question about that Liverpool is, when I moved into this country, there around 4 years ago, So, at the long run, I found myself in Liverpool. It was not a matter of choice. But then I always wondered, like, if I was able to choose, then I could
Other
have
places.
chosen maybe Manchester, not London.
Yeah.
For
Why Manchester though?
No, I just felt like Manchester has a larger Nigerian community.
Well
Like,
diverse.
yeah, that's well diverse.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I would have I would have gone for Manchester if I had the option to choose, because every now and then I go to Manchester.
Yeah. Because Manchester is not far from us.
Yeah, it's not far from there. So that was why I was just like, for somebody who now had the liberty to have gone around, seen different places, and you wanted to settle down at some point, then you still choose Liverpool. But then I understand better now.
Yeah.
Okay, so but then if we talk about, looking back, you're growing up and coming around here before you settle down, have you always thought about, restaurants?
It's a good question again. You just hit me with all this huge. So the restaurants, the idea for the restaurants didn't just spring up in a day like everybody might have thought. My wife is passionate about food, so she's always been cooking anyway. We throw house parties, crazy house parties. Every weekend there's always a party. Our neighbors, like, hands up, they know us. So we weren't that noisy, but we cook, we're foodies. So we feed, and I love hospitality. I love to host people. Make sure people are comfortable, just chill out, drink, enjoy, eat. And one night we were in bed, we just thought, you know what, we enjoy doing this. Let's just make money. Why not?
Let's make it a business.
Let's make it a business, and that bets to Kemola. So yeah, so this is me, kind of like building my wife's dream, so to say, but also incorporating my dreams into her dream, because we're one unit. And yeah, that's Kemola.
She likes food. She likes to cook.
Yep.
You like hospitality.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that speaks for the luxury.
That's it. Yeah.
that you have, because I've always seen a taste of luxury here every time I come in here.
Yeah.
But we'll get back to that. So I think I've gotten an explanation for that. Before we talk about the business, the Kemola brand.
Yeah.
So what was it like working in UK when you had to do I think at some point you must have been into 9 to 5.
Oh yeah. I mean, so I started as the usual go-to job. So my first main job in the UK, where officially got paid, was an administrator for a real estate company on the Wirral. So I done all the books and whatnot, checked on the maintenance guy, whatnot, done all that. Started to get a bit bored. Then I went into care, because care was the main thing. Then there wasn't much of black people around on the Wirral, especially on the Wirral. So done that, enjoyed it for a bit, went up to be a pal, went up to be a support worker, a senior care worker, service manager, deputy service manager, manager. Then went into the NHS, done a nursing assistance job role, and got sponsored by the NHS to become a nurse associate. Done that, then became a clinical educator, then worked a lot of jobs as a clinical educator. Then I started to do the basic, typically 9 to 5 nursing type of job, because I was teaching nurses at the time. And in between that, Bet Kemola. So my clinical educator role is a role that I love. I do because I'm passionate about it. I love to teach. But I only do that at my own time. So it's a company that I manage on a separate basis, and I just teach maybe one or two. Yeah, train to maybe 2 times a month. It's not something I do often, because Kemola now is actually taking a lot of my time. Yeah.
Okay, but so what was it like at the point? You've gone through all those other career lines, and you must have enjoyed it and be committed to it to some extent. So now, what was it like when you were trying to bet Kemola?
It was challenging. I wouldn't say that. It was really challenging. I mean, the challenges are still flowing, no doubt, like any business. But because it's something that you're passionate about, you see the challenges more as opportunities, more as to do better. You know what? And we as Nigerians, we always find a way to overcome any challenge or any hurdle. I say, in the UK now, you give any ethnicity, any tribe, a task, if it's a Nigerian that's doing that task,
It's
a
not.
Nigerian will find the easiest way to complete that task in the quickest time, and they will deliver. We don't give up as Nigerians, and
Yeah.
that's what we're really good at.
Yeah. But then, so still talking about your transition.
Yep.
At what point was it certain to you that I'm really going to do this?
You mean the
the
Kemola?
Kemola, looking at all those challenges you might have faced during that transition, there must have been a point where it was so glaring to you that no, I'm not backing down on this dream.
I think it was the 1 year mark when we went past the 1 year. Most people say you set up a business. When you go past the 2 years, then you know there's no going back. For me, it was kind of round about the 1 year mark. There must have been a lot of challenges. At one point, I broke my wrist, literally clean break. So I've got a metal plate and 5 screws inserted. Yeah. Inside there. So I've got a metal plate inside of my zodiac tattoo there. So you can technically feel that metal there. At that point, after my surgery, I think we had our white party on the 18th of December, and I had my surgery on the 24th of December. So I took that broken wrist, I took it to the white party still, because that was one of my biggest events for the year.
Yeah.
And it was a success. It was a real, I think it's been the biggest success in all our white party editions. But for me to go through all that because of the Kemola brand and still be like, you know what, that's not stopping me. I think that drew blood from me, literally. And I thought that there's no, if this business can draw blood from me, then what else is there?
What else is it going to take from you?
Yeah, that's it. So that's the motivation.
Wow. That's very inspiring. Like,
not that I wish that for everybody, but that's my own cross.
I think everybody is expected to have their own fair share of, sacrifices when they're doing something they believe in.
Sure.
It's not really going to come easy. Because if it was easy, everybody
go run now. Yeah, it's easy. That's it.
Okay, now let's look at the Kemola brand itself. I mean, I'm not going to talk about this like say it's new to me.
Yeah.
Because I've been
you've been
countless times. Yeah. And there's one thing that I've always observed. I think I've mentioned it to you before.
Yeah.
People come in here, and when they get to this side of the business, they get confused.
Okay. You mean the lounge?
The lounge and the settings, they get confused until you have to tell them, like, no, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
So why do you think people get confused when they get here?
I know why. So if you look at majority of the Nigerian, say, let's just bring it down to our own level, our Nigerian social life within Liverpool. When you look at the restaurant settings in Liverpool, a lot of them are noisy generally. You go to, so any Liverpoolian who is a Nigerian going to a Nigerian restaurant, and they'll be like, is this a Nigerian bar? Because we don't make a lot of noise. We like the noise to be just comfortable for everyone, unless it's a party night. So first things first, they walk in and they'll be like, are we in the right place? Because obviously the ambience is cool. It's more receptive. It's a family environment. You can chill out. It's more like the whitish environment, like the Caucasian British bar setting, but with an African spin on it. Then a lot of my Caucasian friends would be here and they'd be like, are we in the right place? Yeah, you are. But this is how we roll. And we have to redirect them to go upstairs to the restaurant and whatnot. So I think that's what it is. But we're getting around reducing the confusion, maybe change the aesthetics to feel more Nigerianish. I don't know.
For me personally, I think I believe it's the standard you've invested into this place.
That's a good one,
because I've had this with a couple of guys, and especially with people who are into food business, restaurant business. Like, we go to Chinese restaurant, we go to Turkish, we go to Indian restaurant, and we see what the quality that people have invested, these businesses have invested in their ambience. Why is the Nigerian restaurant always different? It has to be, just the standard of, I don't want to sound.
Yes.
It's just like people just like, let them just come in and hit.
Let's just come in. I think so for us, to be honest with you guys, it's what we've done here is our bare minimum.
Really?
We haven't actually. I mean, when you come into Kemola, I'm gonna say hands down, majority of everything you see here was built by myself and my wife.
Wow.
Not that we couldn't employ a contractor to come in and do it, but because we were so passionate, we wanted to do everything in the way that we wanted, even up to the paint that goes across the stairs.
Yeah.
There are customized paints that they've got glitter in them. So if it's a very sunny day and there's a lot of reflection from natural light, you see the paint start to glow. That's things that people didn't know about, that we put a lot of thought into before
You
we
were intentional
decorated.
about
It
it.
was intentional, exactly.
Okay, let's talk about the food.
Okay, the food.
So, do you just do Nigerian food, or is it diverse?
It is diverse. So we have a brunch menu which caters for the spaghetti bolognese, caters for shawarmas, caters for egg benedicts. So we do that in the brunch time, but we also incorporated a few things like that you won't be able to get on the main menu, such as moi moi and moi moi and ogi and stuff like that you might not get in other traditional African restaurants in the UK. So during the main menu as well, we also have other diverse menus as well that you can have, like the stir fried um, noodles and stuff like that. So those are there. However, the difference with us is because when you order to eat in Kemola, there's always a wait time, and we pride ourselves around that by cooking fresh. We're not the traditional African restaurant that batch cook and freeze and start microwaving for you. So it's always best to call us in advance to let us know you're coming in, so we can start prepping. When you get here, we'll finish off your meal. That's how we work, which means the taste is locked in. It's delicious, which is why we're the best African food restaurant in Liverpool for the food. Now, in terms of the chef itself, the chef would provide, because there's a difference between a cook and a chef, and I say this to everyone. A cook will cook based on the menu recipe you give into them.
Okay.
A chef will spin anything you give to them. They don't care what it is. Give them 3 items, they'll make it a meal for you. That's a chef. So if you say to our chef to say this is what you want, even if she hasn't done it before, she can have a quick browse, get the menu together,
and make it happen.
So that's where we stand out and why we're different.
Okay. There's one more question regarding the food.
Yeah.
Like, why do the Nigerian restaurants? Why is it that they don't serve platter? Do you serve platter?
We do on requests.
So how do you? I'm purposely asking you this question.
Yeah.
So be very careful.
Yeah. Go on.
So okay, now I'm a customer.
Okay.
And I want to come to Kemola.
Yeah.
And I want to have amala on platter. How are you going to design that platter?
It depends on amala on platter. What else do you want in the amala?
Now you have to tell me what will make it a platter. But I want you to serve me.
Yeah.
Amala is the major dish.
Amala is the major dish.
But I want you to make it a platter.
So now that depends. What else do you want in that your platter? What are you? Have you got any allergies? Is there something that you can't eat? If we put like fish meals or prawns or whatever with the soups, so you can have several different dips of soup. You can have egusi. You can have a roll, a little bit of that. You can have seafood okra. You can have your amala. You can have a little bit of gbegiri. You can have ewedu. Then you have your stew in the middle with all your bokoto. You can have your, we can do that. It's not rocket science. Okay. It can be done, but then because we're bespoke, it's all about you. We just don't bang food in your front and say you eat that. That's what we create, and we charge you. You tell us what you want. Okay. We'll make that happen. We charge you for it. Everybody's happy.
Okay, but then, like I asked earlier, why is it that it's not very common in Nigerian restaurants?
Because it's Nigerian food. As you know, Nigerian food, especially when it's prepared fresh, it's not easy to cook, right? It's not like stir fry that you can finish off a stir fry in 20-25 minutes, get it to your table. Before you cook a forido, before you cook egusi, before you do gbegiri, it takes a while, and to get it right also is a craft on its own.
And making it fresh.
Making it fresh every time, consistently delivering the same taste. It's not baby's work. It's not kids' job.
Yeah.
You have to be crafted to do that. And you know what? Shout out to all our Nigerian ladies that cook Nigerian food fresh. Hats off. I've been in the kitchen so many times, and sometimes I'll just be like, "You guys, I'm leaving you here. This is my cue to get out." It's not easy.
Okay, so okay, Well, I mean, something skipped my mind. I was going to ask something about the food again. Okay, I like the fact that you said, you like to make the food fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Kemola.
Mm.
It's good, it's hygienic,
Mm.
that's a very good standard to maintain.
Yeah.
But then do you guys have like meal of the day? You know,
It's
like that is always
available.
available, like come in, you get
So
served.
we are known for abula. That's kind of like our
Mm,
thing. Me and my wife, we're both Yoruba, so it,
mm,
it just makes sense to serve a main Yoruba dish as the main for the day. So you come in every day, there will be abula. That is standard.
okay.
There's some dishes that might alter during the week, and we're creating a chef special.
Okay.
So each day of the week, there'll be the main meal of the day, which is the abula, which is our signature dish, and then also there will also be like a chef special. So I don't know, it might be an
Mm,
Asian chef special, it might be a stir fry, it might be something different.
okay. I don't just want us to skip this
Yeah,
in terms of building the business because we don't know, you might be motivating somebody who has been nursing the dream.
yeah.
So now funding a business
Hmm.
as especially as an immigrant
Yeah,
in the UK, how easy is that?
it's not easy
So
unless
how
you've got
how
a
are you how did you manage that?
so the 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 truth be told, it's hard.
Hmm,
We used a lot of our personal savings, a lot of our personal investment was liquidated that
hmm,
we pushed into Kemola. But the easiest way that I'd advise anyone going into such a business is to see if you can secure
hmm,
funding, maybe a government funding. Look at your local council
hmm.
if there's any support going there that they're gonna support you with for not just a restaurant business,
Yeah,
starting up
for any
any business.
business.
First things first is do a pit stop at your local council and see what support you can get from the government first. That's your
People
first
get
thing.
people get support from government.
Yeah, you can get support from new businesses in your community. Most importantly, if it's a diverse business, not something that's already existed,
Hmm,
and they feel there's going to be a benefit for this
for this.
to integrate into the community and help employability, definitely there'll be a pot that they can you can dip into and give you some
And
cash. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody,
yeah.
but it's a place to start.
It's a good place to try.
Yes, and even if you don't get that funding from them, they'll still signpost you to the right people that
Hmm,
might be able to assist you. The bank is another place to go, but you won't always get a loan with the bank unless you have a good credit line.
hmm.
And when we talk about good credit line, you're looking at going into a personal guarantee loan,
Wow.
which technically you don't want to be doing when
Hmm.
you're starting up a business, should
Yeah.
in case the worst happens.
Talking about the business
Mhm.
itself, away from the food, we know the food is good. But then what's the most challenging factor about running a business in the UK
Hmm.
to you, based on your own experience?
Getting your numbers right. Getting your numbers right.
Like,
The numbers, what's coming in, what's going out,
okay.
what's essential, what are you spending the money on? That is it, because you can easily get run down with all the bills.
Hmm,
You're talking about the business rates, you're talking about the council itself, what you
hmm,
pay in the council, you're talking about the rent, you're talking about the energy. You can easily run out of cash
hmm,
real quick. So the numbers have to be right. So how much you're selling a product? Say for instance, okay, a good example might be this bottle of water.
hmm,
You might go to Costco and buy this pack of water for X amount, but the corner shop will sell this same one bottle of water for £1,
wow,
right?
hmm,
Or they might sell it for 50p and they can still make a good profit out of that. But I would then say, I'm selling this for £1.
hmm,
Another person could say they'll sell it. So it depends on the environment where you are, will determine the price that you put on that same bottle of water. For instance, if you buy that bottle of water in the plane, it could be £5.
yeah,
It is what it is. But now, me in my head, now I need to think about how much do I need to put on this bottle of
to make
water
it
to
profitable for
make
your
it profitable,
business.
even if it's just a bottle of water.
Hmm,
Because what people don't think is that the environment you walk into, it's nice and cool in here. It's not hot out. It's hot outside,
and
but
cool
you walk in,
inside,
it's
yeah.
cool inside. That's what you're getting for the service. Got nice ambience. You can take pictures. You can relax. You can watch TV. You can log onto the internet.
Hmm, that's
Those stack up when you think about the numbers. So
hmm,
when people say why am I paying £1 for a custom bottle of water? I'll be like, well, go and buy it in the corner shop and drink it outside.
And drink it outside.
You know.
So do you get things like that often? Do you get reactions like that often?
Sure, we
Like,
do.
why are you selling? Maybe are people complaining?
Not all the time, but you get the odd ones, and it's not everything that you have to explain to everybody. I don't owe anybody an explanation. The choice is yours. I mean, you don't you see you have a Ferrari shop and you have a Toyota shop. You don't go to Ferrari shop and ask how much is a Ferrari and start complaining about the price. The salesman will just say, go to Toyota down the road. You know, that's where your price is. It is what it is.
Okay.
You know,
but then people have always complained that Nigerian restaurants sell the most expensive food.
Yeah.
If you go to a takeaway, an Indian selling a takeaway, you can get a biryani, which is close to like rice and stew for like £5. If you go to a Thai takeaway, you could get a fried rice with chips and curry for like £5-6. But then when you come into a Nigerian restaurant, jollof rice, £12. You know, plantain is another story entirely. So why is it always like that?
And it's a good question, and I'll tell you why. The same amount of time to make a proper stew, like a red proper stew that you eat with your basic white rice, is far different from the time to cook a biryani. Biryani ingredients that you use to cook a biryani is easily sourced. Whereas ingredients that we use in the UK,
so
there's loads of population.
They don't have to import it.
They don't, because there are people already importing it. There's the amount of African restaurants and African food store that they sell fresh produce of Nigerian stuff is lesser than when you think about the Indians, the Pakistans. Those they're well ahead of us. You know, you can get their ingredients far cheaper, you know, compared to what we get. I mean, majority of the halal places where we get our beef from are run by Pakistanis, you know, Turkish guys. They're not Nigerians. It would be nice to have a Nigerian butcher, you know, for instance. But again, when you do your checks, that Nigerian butcher will still be getting wholesale from a Pakistani person. So they're well ahead of us. So we can compare. Then let's put a pin on the ingredients, the cost of the ingredients. Now let's think about the time that it takes to actually cook that jollof rice. You want smoky jollof rice. You don't know the amount of time the chef is cooking that big pan of jollof rice. The time it will take. My ladies, our Nigerian ladies, know the efforts they go through now. When they're cooking their egusi, when they're cooking their furo, you know the dedication and the amount of work that you put into that cooking just that one dish for your husband at home. Now you now think about that, cooking it for a lot of people coming in, working in daily, and you have to repeat that same process 4 or 5 times.
Okay. So could this be the reason why we don't have Nigerian takeaway? Like you will have like an Indian.
Why we don't have Nigerian fast food?
Yeah, Nigerian fast food.
Because Nigerian food is not fast. It's not fast unless it was prepared, frozen, warm, microwave for you. If you go to any restaurant and they serve you their food within 10 minutes, it means they've either just cooked it fresh you're lucky to be there. It's your lucky day, or they bagged it out of the freezer to the microwave for you and to your dish. Because you need, if you go to any African restaurant, you need that at least minimum 15 to 20 minutes wait for that food to come to your table. Then you know, okay, these people are doing a good job. I think they're cooking it fresh.
So can we say that if you don't wait for an ample amount of time to get your food in a Nigerian restaurant, then it's not fresh?
No, like I said, you might just be lucky you're walking into when the pot has just been off the fire, it's freshly cooked, and that's great. It works out that way for us sometimes, but most times we now have an open kitchen, right? So you can see the chef cooking your food straight. So there's no where there's no rocket science to it. You know.
Okay, so let's look at now. I know. Okay, where's the vision going for Kemola? Or this is everything about
the vision? Let's say this is the seed.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So
you know what happens to a
so
seed
there's
when it
much
germinates?
more to expect.
No, there's this is the seed, and the seed is just literally germinated now.
Okay.
You know, it hasn't even sprouted off the soil.
Okay.
You know, so there's a lot in the pipeline. There's a lot upcoming, and a lot of people say, "What do you mean?" When majority of time when I post just random pictures, I put other, you know, the captions like we're
We're
cooking,
cooking.
and people will be, "What are you
What are
cooking?"
you
Say,
cooking? We
"What
know
are you
you cook
cooking?"
every
Yeah,
day.
we cook everywhere, but we're still cooking.
Okay. So like what can you give me an idea of what's in the
I
pipeline?
don't want to. I don't want to say a lot. So, amongst other things that we're
Mm,
doing, we currently have a food truck where we're gonna be going around town. We've got a few partners
mm.
within Liverpool area. The food truck is one thing that
Uh,
we're working on at the minute. I don't want to give too much away but there's a lot of exciting stuff coming.
well,
But
I'm actually going to put one to you
go on then.
because practically every Nigerian restaurant you go to, I've been to some in Manchester,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Leeds, in
yeah,
Bradford.
yeah,
Practically almost every Nigerian restaurant have a lounge.
yeah.
Are you not thinking about that?
Yeah, we are thinking about it. So currently have a lounge. The only difference with us is that we can't go past a certain time at night, so which is 12 midnight. We can't open past that time. And the main reason is because we have a residential across the road from
Yeah.
us. So we have to be mindful about the amount of noise we
Mm.
produce, especially for our neighbors. But again, we're working on that, and you know something exciting is coming soon. But we're going to keep that on the wrap.
Okay. Okay. So finally, let's look at our community
Yeah.
here in Liverpool. As a Nigerian who has stayed in Liverpool for a very long time, is there anything you think like it's missing in the Nigerian community?
Yes, yes. I think the number one thing that is missing in the Nigerian community, and I'd say this with my hands on my chest, we don't collaborate enough.
Hmm.
We don't look after our own. Nigerian is the only community that I know that everybody wants to show off to each other. Everyone wants to show the other person how big they are.
I better pass my
I
neighbor.
better pass my God. And when you look at the Indians, you look at the Pakistanis, you look at all these people setting up big businesses, they all look
They're
after
always
their own. They
collaborating.
collaborate. And we say something in Yoruba, Igi kan le
Hmm.
dagboshe. You know, one tree can't become a forest. If you
Yeah,
want to multiply, you need people in your
you need
circle,
people.
people in your corner. We need effective collaboration. And this is one thing that I always say, especially to the party liners in
Hmm.
Liverpool. There's no way you all can be, you know, doing events back to back without colliding with one another.
Hmm.
But one thing that would make you all win together is by collaborating and working in partnership with each
Okay.
other. It's the only way we can grow.
But then, don't you think if we were to have a good, I don't understand the importance of collaboration, but then, do you not think collaboration should be on the basis of value exchange?
100%.
Because if some people might feel like, oh, we need to collaborate, and everybody's saying, can we collaborate
Mm.
with each other? But then I'm looking at you, I can't see
There's
what
no value you're
no
bringing.
value in, there's no
But
value
that's
you're
fine.
bringing to the
That's
table.
fine. That's fine. Sometimes you don't always need to have. So it doesn't necessarily need to be an exchange,
Hmm.
right? You could come to me, Dot, and say, "Oh, you need something. You need a space,
Hmm.
right?" I don't necessarily need to say, "Pay me for that."
Hmm.
You know, so I can say, "Yeah, use my space from this time to this time, and you're good."
Yeah.
And you do that. That's us collaborating.
Hmm.
I help you without getting anything from you at that point.
Okay.
But as we say in Yoruba, "Odomi tutu siwaju."
Yeah.
You understand? In future, there will be a way that you could help me or could link me to somebody else that could help me.
Hmm.
Because Moton, we don't know it
You don't
all.
know it all.
You know, we don't know the future. We don't know
Hmm.
who else is going to be there in your corner that you need in your corner in the future.
Hmm. Okay, that's very nice. So then, is there any possibility of setting up Kemola in Nigeria at the long run?
Hmm.
That's
There is
this is
actually
one thing I like to
there
ask
is
people.
actually a possibility. Yeah, it's something that we've been thinking about. Hundred
Maybe
percent.
a Kemola in maybe a Lagos,
100%.
Abuja, or
100%.
even Ibadan.
100%. Yeah. And the location is still something we're working on,
Okay.
but as a Ibadan and a boy,
Mm.
you know, I'm more inclined to revolve around those areas. But
Yeah.
from thinking from the financial perspective of things, how the money is going to pile up real quick,
Mm.
we're
Yeah.
going to be looking at places like Lagos, Abuja, you know,
Okay.
Port Harcourt. Those
Yeah.
are the kind of, but we'll see.
We have to ensure the figure is right.
Yeah, numbers have to stack up. Yeah,
Numbers have to stack
yeah.
up. Okay. I think that's very good. I think we I think that brings our conversation to a conclusion.
Amazing.
So it's been very nice.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll do this some other time.
100%. Yes.